Hey, what's up, dude? It's good to see you again. Thanks for clicking on the video. Today, I thought it would be a really cool idea to walk through some of those games that we all had as kids that maybe sort of defined our gaming journey. And so if you'll stick with me, I want to share with you a game that I think you might like, a game that you might hate, and maybe one that you've never even heard about. These are 3 games that made me a gamer. All right, so like I said, for this first one, I think it's a game that most people not only know about, but have a positive outlook or a good viewpoint on, and that is Shadows of the Empire for the N64. I still remember the first time I played this game because it was actually leading into my 12th birthday. I remember getting together with my friends and I was like, guys, for my birthday, I asked my parents for a PlayStation and Resident Evil. And I was like very sure that that's what I was gonna get. And I don't remember if they surprised me or if my opinion just pivoted. But at the birthday party, it's just very vivid for me. Instead of sitting there playing PlayStation and Resident Evil, we're sitting and playing N64 and we're playing Shadows of the Empire. But actually, it was great because I am a huge Star Wars nerd. I definitely was back then. And to kind of describe what it was like to get to play this game, I gotta give you a little bit of context. Before this, Star Wars video games, at least for me, were either things that you played on the Atari, which, cool, but like for me, wasn't really the vibe, or it was the Super Star Wars games. Okay, you had Super Star Wars, Super Empire Strikes Back, Super Return of the Jedi, which on their own are great. But to go from those games to what Shadows of the Empire was on the N64 it was just nuts. It was crazy. Like, you don't see that kind of like graphical and gameplay leaps hardly anymore. I loved Shadows of the Empire, especially some of the flight levels. I mean, minus the swoop level. I think we could all get on board that they could have done something different with that. But the flight levels to me were some of the coolest parts, and especially the final mission. And it was so fun to sort of ignore the mission objective. You could just take your time and you could fly around and you could dogfight. And I think if I remember, there was like a Star Destroyer. And so I just remember hours and hours of just flying around and knowing at any point I can go inside, blow up the skyhook, and I'll be done. But like, I'm just gonna enjoy myself. And so Shadows of the Empire, I think it's one that we all maybe look back on fondly. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, but it's definitely one of those games that I look back as a kid and I'm like, man, this one was very impactful and was definitely foundational for my gaming journey. All right, let's talk about game number 2. And this one, look, you might love this game just like me, and you might hate it. So I'm gonna say the name of it, and then we're gonna unpack it. Super Mario Bros. 2. Now, I understand that when it comes to the classic Mario games, Super Mario 3 gets a lot of love. Before Super Mario 2, we had Super Mario Bros. Iconic. Everybody should play it. Everybody should beat it. Everybody should beat it using the warps. If you beat it all the way through, never using the warp zone, do that. Good on you, because I've never done that, and you're a madman. When Super Mario Bros. 2 came out, we went from, it's like on the same console, but we went from the visuals and the style of what Mario Bros. Was to the graphical style and some of the nuances and the cool, just different things that came with Super Mario Bros. 2. It felt like a leap. It felt like this big change and sort of like an upgrade, at least to me, from what you had previously. I understand there are people who are like, Super Mario 2 versus Super Mario 3, it's no contest. Like, Super Mario 3 is so much better. For some people, I think that Super Mario Bros. 3 was one of those games that you just, as a kid, it was maybe one of the first games you played, or it sort of like defined your gaming journey back then. And so for somebody, like, this is gonna be one of those games that's on their list. But for me, it was always Super Mario Bros. 2. So that brings me to game number 3. And this is one that I don't think may be as popular. Maybe some people won't really know about this game. If you do, great. If you don't, though, if you can get access to it, it's one of those games that again, I love to go back to and I love to play, and I feel like it's aged well, even so many years later, and that is Jagged Alliance 2 for the PC. The whole thing is there's like this island nation that's been taken over by this evil dictator, and you're sort of dropped in by her ex-husband to take her down and sort of take the island back piece by piece. You had the ability to form your own team, and everybody had all these crazy stats, and you could deck them out with their gear. And so you would put together this ragtag team of mercenaries who had their own personalities and who had like different interactions and relationship dynamics with each other based on what your team composition was. And so it really is all about like going from like city to city on the map and retaking the zone, and then setting up and training like a militia that can hold it while you move on and continue the fight. It is not an easy game. You will find yourself a lot of times having to kind of backtrack because the militia that you hired and that you trained, God bless them, you tried, but they just could not do the job. And so if you've never checked it out and you can get access to it, I think it's really fun. I think it's on GOG for like maybe $5. And so if you can get it and you can get it to run on your PC, it's cool to give it a shot. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Like I said, if you're not into turn-based strategy, then you're going to hate this. But if you're a turn-based strategy fan and you're into something that can be challenging, can also be kind of fun and quirky, and overall is just going to be a blast, then Jagged Alliance 2 is going to be one that I think you should check out. All right, so there you go. Those are the three, and I want to make it clear, those are three of many. So maybe there'll be a follow-up video. If you guys like this idea and kind of want to hear more, then there's definitely more that we can talk about, but these are three that just popped in my head. There's many, many more, and I'm sure there's many more for you. Let me know in the comments when you think of like one or two games that just really made you a gamer, that sort of defined your gaming journey. What are they and why? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear about it. If you're new to the channel, guys, thanks for checking this out. Make sure you check out the live stream that I do every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific. We're always playing through a really cool retro game, and just it's an opportunity to hang out and engage with the community. So come join the crew. We'll see you on Tuesday. And speaking of, there's no better way to play your retro games than on your retro handheld. So why don't you check out this video about why now is the perfect time for you to get a retro handheld. If you don't have one, now's the time. And if you don't have the RG Slide and you want to be one of the sliders, join the slider crew. Again, now's the time. Click the video, check it out. Until then, guys, I'll see you next time. Stay rad. Peace.